Prevention Award. This award recognizes exemplary leadership through developing innovative projects and key activities or initiatives to promote safe communities. The award was established in honor of Constable Kenneth M. Lemkert, who played a key role in the Vancouver Police Department's community policing program. This year's recipient of the Community Safety and Crime Prevention Award is Garth Letcher. Garth has dedicated over 40 years in the field of law enforcement, 29 years of service with the RCMP, and 12 years with community policing. Over the past 10 years, he has represented the RCMP on a number of advisory boards and committees related to poverty, homelessness, mental health, and substance abuse. Most recently, Garth has been involved with Partners for a Healthy Downtown, which brings together representatives of the business community, street-level social service providers, the local health authority, and enforcement agencies to address uncivil and criminal behavior in Kelowna's downtown. I'd like to invite Garth to come up and say a few words and accept the award.
Thank you, Minister Anton, and the Ministry of Justice for continuing to sponsor these awards, which are so meaningful to those of us working or volunteering in the field of community safety. To the Safe Communities Working Group for recognizing the importance of Partners for a Healthy Downtown in this nomination. And to the British Columbia Crime Prevention Association for providing ongoing leadership, training, and resources which enhance the skills of crime prevention practitioners throughout the province. I am extremely honored to receive the Kenneth M. Lemkert Crime Prevention and Community Safety Award. I've been attending these BCCPA symposiums since 2003, and I've seen this award presented on a number of occasions. And I'm truly grateful and privileged to become part of that legacy that represents this award. My thanks to Christine Walsh, Police and Community Support Services Manager for the Regional District of the Central Okanagan, for her kind consideration to submit this nomination, and to each member of the Partners for a Healthy Down team who have risen to the challenge these past 10 years. Our community partners have provided me with valuable insight and understanding into the complex issues associated with poverty, homelessness, mental illness, and addictions, and I'll be forever grateful for their support. The unfortunate reality is that no matter how many successes we've had, there's always more to do, and that applies for all of us here today. As police officers, civilian crime prevention practitioners, or volunteers working within a crime prevention program, the work we do each and every day in our communities is extremely rewarding. Rewarding because we have opportunities to make a difference, to make lasting contributions to the safety and well-being of our communities through the ongoing support of the Ministry of Justice and British Columbia Crime Prevention. I know each of us here today will continue to meet that challenge. Thank you very much.
A young and enthusiastic member of the Squamish RCMP who recognized the potential in youth and encouraged their participation in community safety and crime prevention. This year's recipient of the Youth Leadership Award is Sergeant Paul Brooks. Sergeant Paul Brooks of the Victoria Police Department started the inaugural 4-day Youth Combating Intolerance Conference in 2003. 12 years later, renamed as the Youth for Change and Inclusion, the program is still going strong. This year, bringing together 84 students, 16 teachers, 9 police officers, and 17 speakers. Sergeant Brooks also steers the Victoria Police Chiefs Youth Council to develop young leaders and build bridges between the youth and police. I'd like to invite Sergeant Brooks to the podium, please.
afternoon. It is an honor to be recognized, and I thank everybody involved in that process that is part of today's events. It's a big event to put on, and it takes a lot of planning. I definitely know what that's like. Sometimes in life we have dramatic changes that happen, and for me in 1999, my wife came home in March and told me that she volunteered me for a multicultural camp involving teenagers. Nothing terrified me more, and I didn't go skipping all the way. But from that experience, I realized I didn't understand the issues as well as I should. That learning about these issues made me a better person, a better police officer, and that there were youth in our community that, when given the opportunity and exposed to these issues, could do amazing things. It truly is harnessing the power of youth and understanding, getting them to believe in themselves. And the school district canceled the program, and when you look at the adage of best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now, that's the kind of philosophy I went with. I sought out funding, and it was with Coast Capital and the Victoria Police Department that continues to fund this initiative, which I'm appreciative. The 2003 was the first camp, and like was mentioned, this past year marked the 11th year I've done it. An amazing team I put together of police and volunteers and teachers. But to bring 84 high school youth together for 4 days, it's an amazing experience. And to bring in speakers to raise that awareness on residential schools, bullying, homophobia, gender identity, social activism, homelessness, the Holocaust, and also community activism. By bringing that personal connection to the issue, that's where I see the passion ignite within the youth. And they're far more likely to act when they have that connection. There have been phenomenal outcomes, and as a police officer being on the front lines, I see the tragic consequences when the youth don't believe in themselves, whether it be the suicide and violence. So to see and take those paths and to change them and for them to be pillars within their community is wonderful for me to make that difference. Also the police officers, they become more aware they believe in the community again, and they're more likely to become engaged in some of those volunteer activities. Like Constable Audi, I'm passionate about youth and youth engagement, and I encourage you to support initiatives in your community that help plant that seed early, so we're not talking about 20 years ago. So thank you very much.
The award was established in honor and in memory of the late Dr. Liz Elliott, founding co-director of the Center for Restorative Justice at Simon Fraser University, and a highly respected practitioner and advocate for restorative justice. This year's recipient of the Restorative Justice Memorial Award is Haroon Bajwa. Haroon Bajwa has been with the coordinator of the Restorative Justice Program in Richmond since 2005. He is a firm believer in the restorative justice process and is committed to changing the direction of youth who come into contact with the justice system. As a strong advocate for restorative justice, Haroon maintains strong connections with the Richmond RCMP, Crown Council, and various secondary schools within the community. I'd like to invite Haroon to the podium, please.
Thank you all. I'm truly humbled by this honor the late Liz Elliott, a true hero to everyone in the restorative justice community. Her passion and dedication to restorative justice influenced all of us that work in this field. It pleases me immensely that she will continue to inspire us through this legacy that you have bestowed upon me here today. I've served 10 years in my capacity as a restorative justice coordinator for the Richmond Restorative Justice Program at Touchstone Family Association. The program was the outcome of a community effort, including the Richmond Family and Youth Court Committee, RCMP, and Touchstone Family Association. Touchstone committed itself to a novel approach that few had heard of, let alone understood. Victim-centered, offender-focused, community-driven. You could have Googled restorative justice back then when very little would have popped up on the subject. Today I have daily alerts in my inbox, too many to keep up with. Currently, restorative justice is expanding all over the world and is gaining traction with law enforcement, schools, prisons, and even workplaces, not to mention its role in healing historical injustices and grievances suffered by Indigenous communities. Slowly but surely, we are beginning to question our traditional approach to rule breaking and or violations. We're beginning to see the people who are at the root of both the problem and the solution. Harm affects all of us by disrupting the harmony of trust and respect between people, making all of us less safe, less healthy. Restorative justice allows for us to come together as a community, to listen to one another, to better understand each other, to share our perspective with one another, and to be accountable in our responsibility to heal broken relationships. This is best captured in the often echoed phrase amongst restorative justice practitioners: crime wounds, justice heals. I am most proud of the fact that the Richmond Restorative Justice Program has positively affected so many people, including numerous children and families in my community. It is a tremendous privilege to have people put their trust in us to help them in their most difficult circumstances. Our greatest reward is seeing people and relationships transformed. In line with our vision, we are committed to expanding restorative justice and further developing and deepening our partnerships with law enforcement, Crown, and schools. In this regard, we are not very different from most, if not all, other programs in the province. The work that these programs has garnered praise from other parts of the world. It is my hope that restorative justice will also receive respect, opportunities for growth, and sustainability at home with the provincial and federal governments as committed partners. Before I close, I also want to mention that a few years back, Jamie Lip introduced me to the provincial initiative for preventing youth gang violence and youth violence in general. And I was very honored to be a part of that, and we still have a community assessment and action network that's still carrying on that work. I recently went to go see a documentary that I think is fundamentally important to all of us here that work with boys and young men. Okay, and I just want to make sure I get the title right. It's called The Mask You Live In. I do highly, strongly recommend that you Google this or see this documentary. And if you can make it available for your own organization and to schools, it'll be essential, because I think it gets down to the fundamental core of what is happening to our boys and the socialization process, the gender issue around masculinity, and so many of our boys ending up incarcerated and in gangs. So this is a really important documentary that I think could be life-saving. So I really encourage you to check that out when you get that opportunity. So in closing, I wish to thank Touchstone Family Association, my organization, my good friend, Program Director Chris Samuelak, for nominating me here. I also wish to thank Jamie Lip, his entire team, the Ministry of Justice, BC Crime Prevention Association. I will forever cherish this recognition on behalf of myself and my community, which includes my organization, my mentors, my fellow practitioners, our many advocates, and most importantly, our volunteers and citizens of Richmond, each and every one of whom deserves gratitude for their collaboration and contributions to restorative justice. Thank you.
Excellence Award, which recognizes an individual, community group, or others who have provided exemplary leadership in providing